Some motorcycles are so overpriced and unreliable, buying one is like lighting your wallet on fire. From pointless gimmicks to mechanical nightmares, these bikes look good on paper, but leave you broke and disappointed. In this video, we're calling out 10 motorcycles that only an absolute fool would waste money on, and why you should avoid these at all cost. We're starting our countdown with the Kawasaki KLR 650, a bike that's like bringing a butter knife to a gunfight. Sure, the KLR has a cult following, but this overweight adventure wannabe is more suited for grocery runs than actual adventure riding. This 651cc single-cylinder beast produces a whopping 37 horsepower, which sounds impressive until you realize that's barely enough to outrun a determined jogger. The engine vibrates like it's trying to escape the frame, and the power delivery is about as smooth as a gravel road during an earthquake. The weight situation is even worse. At 432 pounds wet, this thing handles like a refrigerator on wheels. Try to lean it into a corner, and you'll understand why chiropractors love KLR owners. The suspension is so soft that it bottoms out if you look at a pothole wrong, sending spine-jarring impacts that'll rearrange your vertebrae. But here's the real kicker: the infamous doohickey problem. This poorly designed balancer chain tensioner fails without warning, splitting your engine cases open like a cracked egg. Nothing ends a ride faster than your bike's vital fluids decorating the pavement. Thousands of owners have learned this expensive lesson the hard way. The fuel economy is laughable for a single-cylinder bike, and the wind protection is non-existent. Highway riding becomes an exercise in human aerodynamics as you get buffeted by every passing truck. The seat feels like it was designed by someone who hates motorcycle riders, turning long rides into endurance tests. The bottom line? The KLR 650 is a relic from an era when good enough was actually good enough. In today's market, with superior alternatives like the Yamaha Tenere 700 or Honda CRF 300L Rally offering better performance, reliability, and comfort, there's simply no excuse for subjecting yourself to the KLR's litany of compromises. Save your money, save your spine, and save yourself the inevitable roadside breakdown. This dinosaur belongs in a museum, not your garage. If you think only fools waste money on number 10's overweight disaster, wait until number 9 shows you how this once great brand is now scamming loyal customers. Remember when Suzuki meant cutting-edge sport bike technology? Those days are dead. And if you're still buying the GSX-R750 thinking you're getting modern performance, you're living in a fantasy world that's about to come crashing down. The Suzuki GSX-R750 is running the same basic engine architecture from the early 2000s, wrapped in slightly updated bodywork and sold as new. It's like putting lipstick on a pig and charging premium prices for the privilege. While competitors have moved to advanced electronics, traction control, and sophisticated suspension, Suzuki's idea of innovation is changing the paint scheme. This 749cc inline-4 produces decent power on paper, but the delivery feels ancient compared to modern rivals. The suspension is basic, the electronics are primitive, and the overall package feels like a time machine to 2005. You're paying 2024 prices for technology that was cutting edge when MySpace was popular. The dealership network has quietly shrunk faster than your bank account after buying one of these bikes. Good luck finding parts or service in many areas. You might drive hours just to find someone willing to work on your Suzuki, assuming they remember how to do it and haven't converted their service bay into storage for brands people actually buy. Resale value is catastrophic. A 3-year-old GSX-R750 sells for significantly less than its Yamaha R6 or Honda CBR counterpart, even with similar mileage and condition. The market has spoken, and it's saying no thanks to Suzuki's half-hearted efforts and decade-old technology. The riding position is cramped, the heat management is poor, and the overall refinement feels cheap. It's like Suzuki took everything that made their bikes great in the past and forgot to update it for the present. Don't be fooled by nostalgia or brand loyalty. The GSX-R750 is a monument to corporate complacency masquerading as a sport bike. In a world where the Yamaha R7, a Kawasaki Ninja ZX-6R, and Honda CBR 650R offer superior technology, better dealer support, and actual resale value, Choosing the GSX-R750 is like voluntarily signing up for disappointment. Suzuki had their moment in the sun, but that sun set years ago. Move on before you get burned. Think number 9's disappointing stagnation makes you look foolish? We're just scratching the surface of manufacturer betrayal, because if you buy number 8, your entire family won't even look at you anymore. The Harley-Davidson Street 500 is Harley's attempt to attract younger riders, which backfired so spectacularly that it should be studied in business schools as a masterclass in how to destroy your brand reputation. This bike is proof that slapping a bar and shield logo on something doesn't automatically make it good. And if you bought one thinking you were getting authentic Harley heritage, you got played harder than a fiddle at a country music festival. This 494cc parallel twin produces about as much excitement as watching paint dry in slow motion. The engine overheats constantly, turning your inner thighs into slow-cooked barbecue. Traffic jams become medieval torture sessions where you're literally cooking from the inside out, while other riders cruise by comfortably on their properly engineered motorcycles. Oil leaks appear faster than you can say Milwaukee 8, creating abstract art patterns on your garage floor that would make Jackson Pollock jealous. The throttle response is so poor that you'll question whether the bike is actually running or just making motorcycle-like noises to fool you into thinking it's functional. The clutch wears out prematurely, probably from embarrassment at being associated with this disaster. The transmission feels like it was designed by someone who had only heard motorcycles described secondhand by a person who had never actually seen one. Shifting gears becomes a negotiation rather than a smooth operation. But wait, there's more. The electrical system has more issues than a reality TV show. Warning lights flash like a Christmas tree having a seizure, and the exhaust starts rusting before you've even finished the break-in period. It's like Harley took everything that could go wrong with a motorcycle and made it standard equipment. The Street 500 was supposed to be Harley's gateway drug for new riders, introducing them to the brand before they moved up to bigger models. Instead, it became their gateway to other manufacturers. Nothing says buy a Honda quite like experiencing Harley's idea of entry-level quality and reliability. Major repairs are often needed before 5,000 miles, and the bike is infamous for frequent shop visits. The poor throttle response makes city riding frustrating, while the premature clutch wear means expensive repairs just when you're getting comfortable with the bike. But number 8's overpriced American disaster pales compared to what riders willingly endure with number 7. The fools buying this next bike are paying an insane price tag for the privilege of constant pain and embarrassment. The KTM RC390 looks like a proper sport bike from a distance, but get closer and you'll discover it's more like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Except the wolf has rabies, the sheep is on fire, and somehow you're the one who ends up getting bitten. If you bought this thinking you were getting European engineering excellence at a bargain price, congratulations on learning an expensive lesson about the difference between marketing promises and mechanical reality. This Austrian-Indian collaboration promised track-ready performance at budget prices, complete with aggressive styling. What it actually delivered was a masterclass in how to make riders question their life choices while simultaneously teaching them intimate details about their local motorcycle repair shop's waiting room decor. The 373cc single-cylinder engine vibrates with such enthusiasm that your hands go numb faster than a dental patient getting root canal work. Your vision blurs from the constant shaking, making it impossible to read road signs, gauge clusters, or the expressions of pity on other riders' faces as they pass you on the highway. Quality control seems to be more of a suggestion than a requirement at the factory. Bolts back out with the determination of prisoners escaping Alcatraz, panels misalign like a jigsaw puzzle assembled by a blindfolded toddler, and electrical gremlins multiply faster than rabbits in springtime. The bike feels like it was assembled by someone having a particularly bad day while suffering from a severe hangover. The suspension is harder than a calculus exam taught by a professor who hates students and about as forgiving as your ex when you forgot their birthday. Hit a pothole and you'll feel it in your spine for weeks, assuming your spine survives the impact. The riding position is so aggressive that you'll need yoga classes just to reach the handlebars comfortably. Reliability reports read like horror stories that would make Stephen King proud. Owners report everything from premature clutch failure to mysterious electrical issues that would stump NASA engineers. It's like buying a lottery ticket, except instead of winning money, you win expensive repair bills and the privilege of explaining to your friends why your sport bike spends more time in the shop than on the road. The heat generated by this single-cylinder engine is enough to cook eggs on the tank, making summer riding an exercise in masochism. Combined with the aggressive riding position, long rides become endurance tests that would make Navy SEALs quit. Think the fools buying number 7's budget nightmare are stupid? Wait until you see the absolute idiots wasting fortunes on number 6. The BMW R1250 GS is BMW's flagship adventure bike, packed with more electronics than a space shuttle and about as reliable as your internet connection during the most important Zoom call of your career. If you bought one of these thinking German engineering meant bulletproof reliability, you're about to learn that sometimes German precision extends to precisely engineering new and creative ways for things to break. This 1,254cc boxer twin produces impressive power, but it's delivered through a transmission that becomes stiffer than a frozen fish in winter. The famous BMW shaft drive system is being phased out due to what they diplomatically call unsustainable reliability issues. Even BMW admits its signature technology breaks too much and costs too much to fix. The advanced suspension systems throw more warning messages than a paranoid security guard at a nuclear facility. Every ride becomes an adventure in diagnostic interpretation as your dashboard lights up like a Christmas tree designed by someone with severe anxiety disorders. Battery drain issues will leave you stranded faster than you can say, "Bavarian Motor Works." The electronics are so complex that diagnosing problems requires a computer science degree and a direct line to Munich. Simple repairs become expensive expeditions into the world of proprietary diagnostic tools and software updates that cost more than some people's monthly rent. Independent mechanics often refuse to work on these bikes due to the specialized equipment required. BMW owners spend more time in service departments than actually riding, developing intimate relationships with service advisors, and becoming experts on dealership coffee quality. The irony is that you pay premium prices for German engineering, then discover that the engineering is so complex, it's unreliable. The bike weighs over 500 pounds wet, making it a handful in technical terrain despite its adventure bike pretensions. The center of gravity is high, and the bike feels top-heavy when loaded with gear. For a machine designed to explore remote areas, it sure spends a lot of time in urban service centers. That electronic nightmare seems reasonable until number 5 shows what happens when prestige meets incompetence. The biggest idiots are paying exotic prices for third-world quality. The Ducati Multistrada V4 is Ducati's flagship adventure tourer, a rolling sculpture that sounds like angels singing opera while looking like it was designed by Renaissance artists who understood aerodynamics. Unfortunately, it's assembled with all the attention to detail of a drunk toddler playing with expensive Legos. And if you bought one thinking Italian craftsmanship meant quality, you're about to get a very expensive education. Recent recalls have highlighted spectacular failures that would be hilarious if they weren't so dangerous and expensive. We're talking about passenger seat backrests that aren't properly secured because someone at the factory forgot to use thread lock. Premium Italian engineering defeated by a $2 bottle of thread-locking compound you can buy at any hardware store. The 1158 CIEC V4 engine produces massive power but delivers it in an all-or-nothing fashion that makes controlled riding nearly impossible. The power surge is so violent that maintaining traction becomes a dark art, especially in technical terrain where precise throttle control is essential. It's like trying to paint a portrait with a fire hose. The electronics are temperamental at best. Dashboard failures, electronic throttle malfunctions, and ride modes that reset mid-ride are just Tuesday for Multistrada owners. Even simple systems like traction control throw fault codes more often than a baseball pitcher throws strikes. Ducati's response to these issues has been about as swift as their warranty claim processing. Glacial. When safety recalls are delayed for certain models, it raises serious questions about company priorities. Apparently, some customers are more equal than others in Ducati's beautifully designed, but poorly prioritized world. The fuel injection system is susceptible to dust contamination, creating erratic running that transforms riding from enjoyable to dangerous. Combined with the explosive power delivery, technical sections become exercises in clutch control and prayer rather than skill and confidence. Parts availability is a nightmare, with some components back-ordered for months. The dealer network struggles with complex diagnostics, and even basic maintenance requires specialized tools and knowledge that few shops possess outside of major metropolitan areas. But even the fools wasting money on No. 5's Italian assembly disasters look brilliant compared to the absolute morons buying No. 4. You really don't want to be one of them. The Triumph Street 77765 represents everything wrong with modern Triumph. A bike that looks good on paper, but reveals dangerous manufacturing defects that could literally kill you. If you bought one thinking British engineering meant reliability, you're about to learn why the British motorcycle industry nearly died in the first place. The A2 restricted versions feature front suspension with threads cut so poorly that caps can literally shear off without warning. Imagine riding along when suddenly your front suspension decides to take an unscheduled vacation from reality. Fork oil everywhere, front end dropping like a stone, and you're left wondering if you should call a tow truck or a priest. The really insulting part isn't just the poor quality, it's that these safety-critical issues were delayed for restricted versions, suggesting that some riders' safety matters less than others in Triumph's corporate hierarchy. It's like they decided newer riders deserve lower-quality components because they won't know any better. This isn't just poor quality control. This is dangerous incompetence that puts riders' lives at risk. When basic machining operations are botched on safety-critical components, you have to wonder what else they got wrong. Maybe the brakes are held on with hope and good intentions. The 765cc triple engine produces decent power, but with a delivery that's more aggressive than most riders can handle safely. The bike encourages speeds that exceed most riders' skill levels, creating a dangerous combination of inadequate suspension quality and excessive performance. The fact that these motorcycles made it past quality control and onto dealer floors is more terrifying than any horror movie. Someone at Triumph looked at those badly cut threads and thought, good enough. That person should find a new career that doesn't involve other people's safety. What makes this even more infuriating is that Triumph has the engineering knowledge to do better. They've built excellent motorcycles before, but cost-cutting and poor quality control have turned their modern bikes into potential death traps, disguised as premium motorcycles. But even No. 4's life-threatening defects seem acceptable compared to the complete fraud of No. 3, where absolute fools are paying premium prices for toy factory rejects. The Benelli TNT 600i is like that knockoff designer handbag you bought online after too many glasses of wine. It looks impressive in photos until you actually try to use it, at which point it falls apart faster than your excuses for buying it. What was once a respected Italian manufacturer has become a budget-tier brand, built for volume rather than legacy. This bike is assembled in China using mass production practices that prioritize quantity over quality, with the enthusiasm of a factory trying to meet impossible quotas. The result is a wildly inconsistent build quality that makes Russian roulette look like a safe bet. Panels misalign, fasteners back out, and paint chips faster than your patience. The 600cc inline-4 engine sounds aggressive, but feels about as powerful as a caffeinated hamster. Throttle response is laggier than your internet connection during a video call, and torque delivery feels hollow enough to echo. The bike sounds like it's ready to conquer the world, but struggles to conquer a parking lot. Quality control is apparently just a suggestion at the factory. Bolts loosen themselves with the determination of prisoners planning an escape. Electrical systems fail with creative timing, and components wear out faster than your enthusiasm for riding this disaster. It's like the bike is actively trying to disassemble itself while you ride. The suspension looks fully adjustable, but it rides harsher than a medieval torture device. The braking system has a soft lever feel and stopping distances longer than a CVS receipt. Combined with unpredictable handling, every ride becomes an adventure in physics and probability. What really makes ownership impossible is the complete lack of support. Many shops won't stock parts, and mechanics avoid the brand like it's contagious. Simple fixes can take weeks if components need to be ordered from overseas, assuming they're still available. It's like buying a puzzle with half the pieces missing and no picture on the box. Resale value is effectively zero. Once a TNT 600i leaves the dealership, it becomes harder to sell than ice to Eskimos. Depreciation is so rapid that a brand new bike loses half its value within 1 year. Even in excellent condition, the combination of poor reliability, minimal support, and weak brand recognition destroys buyer confidence completely. The electronics are another nightmare entirely. Basic systems like lighting and ignition suffer from erratic behavior that would make a haunted house jealous. Digital displays flicker and freeze. Electrical shorts appear without warning, and wiring harnesses are routed with all the care of a drunk electrician having a bad day. The complete idiots buying number 3's Chinese disaster look like rocket scientists compared to the absolute fools throwing money at number 2. The Hyosung GT 650R is what happens when a motorcycle manufacturer decides that quality control is just an expensive suggestion, and customer satisfaction is someone else's problem. This Korean disaster makes every other bike on our list look like a masterpiece of engineering and reliability. This 647cc V-twin sport bike promises aggressive styling and decent performance at budget prices. But what it delivers is a masterclass in how to destroy customer confidence and create lifelong brand hatred. The engine may look like it borrowed design cues from proven Japanese units, but it lacks any semblance of durability or refinement. Internal components wear prematurely with the enthusiasm of a self-destructing time bomb. Gaskets begin leaking after minimal mileage, creating oil art on your garage floor that would make abstract painters jealous. Valve trains fall out of adjustment at intervals far shorter than what any reasonable person would expect, requiring constant, expensive maintenance. The electronics are so unreliable that they make 1970s. British bikes look like paragons of electrical stability. Basic systems like lighting, ignition, and fuel delivery suffer from erratic behavior that defies logical explanation. Riders frequently report stalling issues at idle, digital speedometers that flicker or freeze completely, and electrical shorts that appear without warning or reason. Quality control appears to be handled by blindfolded monkeys having seizures. Bolts strip with minimal torque, welds fail under light loads, and parts that should be standardized often require custom fitting just to make the bike functional. It's like each motorcycle is a unique experiment in how many things can go wrong simultaneously. The suspension components look decent from a distance, but deliver a ride quality that would make a shopping cart feel sophisticated. Fork seals begin leaking within a few thousand miles. Rear shock absorbers fade early, and the overall handling becomes increasingly unpredictable as components wear out at different rates. Dealer support is virtually non-existent, having collapsed faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. Riders needing warranty support, technical service, or even basic parts are left to scour online forums and overseas retailers like digital archaeologists searching for ancient artifacts. Local mechanics often refuse to work on the brand entirely due to poor parts availability and the sheer frustration of diagnosing recurring issues. The resale value is so catastrophic it defies mathematical explanation. A brand new GT 650R priced at around $6,000 struggles to fetch half that within 1 year, even in excellent condition. The combination of poor reliability, minimal support, and complete lack of brand recognition creates a perfect storm of depreciation. And finally, we reach our number 1. The ultimate money-burning disaster that combines Italian exotic pricing with catastrophic reliability. The MV Agusta F3 800 is a motorcycle so problematic that it makes all our previous entries look like paragons of reliability and value. This Italian exotic is like dating a supermodel with severe personality disorders and a gambling addiction. Absolutely stunning until you get to know them, then financially and emotionally devastating. MV Agusta has perfected the art of building motorcycles that look like rolling sculptures but function like expensive paperweights designed to drain your bank account. The F3 800 suffers from the infamous valve drop problem, where valve springs fail catastrophically, causing complete engine destruction that would make a demolition expert proud. Imagine riding along at highway speeds when your engine suddenly decides to commit mechanical suicide. Valves drop, pistons get intimate with cylinder heads, and your beautiful Italian dream becomes a very expensive pile of scrap metal faster than you can say, "Mamma mia!" It's not just inconvenient, it's genuinely dangerous when your bike suddenly loses power in traffic. The 798cc three-cylinder engine produces impressive numbers on paper, but in practice, it's twitchy, temperamental, and mechanically fragile. Engines overheat in traffic like they're powered by miniature volcanoes, stumble during low-speed operation like they're having mechanical seizures, and occasionally fail under spirited use despite regular maintenance and premium fuel. The electronics are equally temperamental, throwing more tantrums than a spoiled child in a toy store. Dashboard failures, electronic throttle malfunctions, and ride modes that reset mid-ride are just Tuesday for MV Agusta owners. Even simple systems like traction control throw fault codes more often than a baseball pitcher throws strikes. Parts availability is where this brand truly excels at disappointing customers and destroying dreams. Components are backordered for months, sometimes entire riding seasons. Some owners have waited longer for a single part than it takes to get a college degree. When MV Agusta updates parts mid-production, older components become obsolete, making repairs impossible and turning your motorcycle into an expensive garage ornament. The dealer network is thinner than your patience after owning one of these bikes. Many owners live hours from authorized service, and even those lucky enough to have nearby dealers struggle with scheduling and warranty claims that get tied up in red tape longer than government legislation. Cost is the final insult that adds injury to injury. These motorcycles start at $15,000 and climb toward $25,000 for limited editions that are limited mainly by how many people are foolish enough to buy them. Maintenance costs are astronomical. Oil changes require special tools. Valve adjustments are complex and expensive, and even basic components cost more than premium alternatives from reliable manufacturers. The depreciation is so spectacular that it should be studied by economists. Despite limited production and exotic branding, used models lose 50 to 60% of their value within 3 years. It's like buying a motorcycle that comes with its own built-in money incinerator and a guarantee of financial regret. MV Agusta sells emotion and heritage, but delivers frustration and bankruptcy. You fall in love with the image, but end up married to a maintenance nightmare that makes your worst relationship look reasonable by comparison. The bike spends more time in the shop than on the road, and every ride becomes an exercise in mechanical Russian roulette. Don't make these expensive mistakes. Click the next video to see the motorcycles smart riders are actually buying. Reliable bikes that won't leave you stranded or broke.